Hi everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. I'm on my 20th intro, so this one is going to be the one that I actually use. We have a masterclass video for you coming up. The artist's name is Isaac Levitan. He's from the 1800s. He's a Russian painter. His paintings show so much light. I love them. We're going to go over them together in this video. Let's dive into it. All right, here we go. Let's get started with this masterclass. Now, who is Isaac Levitan? He is a Russian-born landscape painter. He was born, I believe, in 1860, and he died in 1900. He obviously only lived till he was 40 years old, and he created an incredible amount of work in his very short life. His life, he endured a lot of hardships. His mom died when he was 15. His dad died when he was 17. And so I do believe that the reason why he created so much art was he found his escape in his artwork, specifically mood landscape paintings. Like he did so many landscape paintings. It's incredible. And what I really love about him is that he was very comfortable in his shoes. Like he knew that he was great at doing landscapes. That was what he was passionate about. And he didn't like go from the figure to portraits to landscapes. He primarily did landscapes. And I like that so much about him. Now, I don't want to turn the masterclass into a full-blown history lesson. You can come over here. I'll put this link in the PDF. You can come over here and check out his bio. It's a really interesting bio. Like I said, he did not have an easy life at all, and I really do feel the reason why he created so much artwork was because it was his escape. Now, when you come on over to wikiart.org, and you type in Isaac Levitan, you will really be blown away by the sheer volume of his work. Most of it, I'd say about 98% of it, is landscape. He might have a self-portrait in there, one or two others, but it's pretty much landscape. And I would encourage you to come on over here and peruse through his artwork. Now, with that being said, it was a dilemma for me to choose which ones to use for the masterclass because I really have to keep it to about 5 or 6 pieces to get through this in about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't want to go anywhere near an hour with the masterclass video. I did my best. You might like other paintings, but I like the ones that I chose because what I want to primarily teach you in this masterclass video is how to convey the feeling of sunlight and mood and time of day specifically within this masterclass video. Now, one side note, all of these images, I'd say most of them are really small images. They're like 1,000 pixels wide by 700 pixels tall, which in my Photoshop is small. Now, I definitely zoomed in on all of them. This one is zoomed in by 300%. And I don't want to go any bigger. I think it's worth doing this masterclass even though his images are extremely small and they're probably looking a little small on your monitor. If you can bear with me with that aspect, I would really appreciate that because I think his images are totally worth talking about. Now, there's like 5 or 6 that I want to get to, so let's get started. Now, this first one is titled A Day in June. And if you squint at this painting, you're really gonna... I'm squinting at it right now. It just looks like I'm in the landscape. Like, it's so realistic. He was known for mood painting and impressionistic painting. This is very impressionistic, and he's just spot on with A Day in June, a bright, sunny day in June. Let's walk through some techniques here that I would like you to consider using in your art creation. Now, the trend that I see in most of his artwork is that he always has what is I like to call a lead-in. There's always a line here that leads us into the scene, and what it does is it creates a lot of depth. So he, right off the bat, uses a ton of perspective. Now, we look at this lead-in. It's just a very strong diagonal. There's some contrast over here. at the lead-in, those dark green leaves against the light beige tall grass. That lead-in, you're going to see in all of his images, he has the lead-in in every single one. Now, what does the lead-in bring us to? It brings us to this little valley over here where there's more contrast. It's that light rose brown color against the dark tree line, and it's also extremely hard-edged right over there. Okay, so the lead-in is huge because it brings us to where he wants us to look, down the landscape, down the field to this very big tree. And there's also lots of contrast on the tree trunk, which is just fabulous. Always try to incorporate a lead-in. Why? Because that's going to give your paintings depth, your drawings depth. And think about when you do this lead-in, where are you going to use contrast to help control where the viewer looks first? Now, the second thing that I really, really like that he's showing us and what he's incorporating is overlap. So we have this massive vertical tree that is overlapping this horizon line, which has so much gesture to it. Now, it's not a huge overlap, but we do have a very strong horizontal right in the middle of the image. That's tilted, and I love that. And then our main vertical overlaps that. Overlap is a technique that you want to try to incorporate in all of your drawings and paintings. When I do the coaching, when I do the critique every Monday here at drawingtutorialsonline.com, I love to incorporate the use of overlap, because overlap is just very, very crucial to creating depth. Now, the overlap is just great. We also have this little bush here, this foliage, whatever you want to call it, is overlap in the horizon line. And it's like there's a little kind of mid-ground over there that is so cool. Okay, use overlap. Overlap is very useful in creating powerful images. Now, values. The key takeaway, even though we're just getting started here with this masterclass, the key takeaway is he uses these massive simplistic shapes of value. This is our main, his, not our, this is his main value of dark. Now, this is a toughie because when I squint, it's not a perfect three value piece, but I'm going to call this, and you have to just kind of go with this on me. This is going to be our midtone, our middle value. I'm going to call this the light, and I'm going to call the sky the light as well. Big shapes of value. There's also a little light over here. I just absolutely love how he uses these big shapes of value. It's something that you want to take note of. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the color in this piece. And the color is magnificent. And it's a bright sunny day, and there's a trend that I notice with his artwork. And the trend is this: when he shows a sunny day, what he does is he uses a very dark. And I always wondered why my paintings never had like a true sunlight. And part of the reason why they didn't have true sunlight was mainly because I never really put this true dark in the piece. And that the mantra that I like to use is, in order to have light, you must have dark. And the sunnier the day, the brighter the day, the more dark is needed to show that sunlight. That's number one. So he has the dark and he also has the light, okay? And he uses both to his advantage to really show bright sun. The second thing that he does is he always uses a color opposite. Over here we have a pure yellow ochre versus a really intense, we can call that blue, we can call it cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, whatever blue that you like, but it's a blue, and he always uses the color opposite. Now, one thing I discovered many years ago when I first started working on my illustration portfolio, was I did a painting. It had a huge blue sky and a big field of green grass. And I just used green in the grass and I just used blue in the sky. And it was almost like I had two different paintings, and the horizon line was cut in the painting in half. But what he does is he brings the blue into the foreground with these little blue flowers, little specks of blue, little specks of cool over here. We can call it cool, we can call it blue, but either way, he's integrating the sky into the field, and simultaneously, he's integrating the warmth of the field into the sky, which is just fabulous. That is what you want to do. You want to put these little specks of color all around your piece, because that is going to integrate the color. So everything, the sky, the field, it's all not separated. Now, again, what I really want to encourage you to do with this piece is to squint at it, because when you squint at it, you really see the sunlight. Now, we went over color, we went over value patterns, we went over overlap, we went over the lead-in. This piece has so much to offer, and this is, if you want to learn how to paint a scene that is a very vibrant, bright, sunny day, this is what you want to copy, okay, for practice. Now, there's also this wonderful pink that he has over here, and he's bringing that closer to the horizon line of the sky. And as the sky goes up, it has a more clarity to it. I'm sure that's what he saw, because he's an expert landscape painter. This is what his true talent is seeing these subtle colors. And I would really pay attention to how he has that subtlety on the horizon line. So now let's go to the next piece. And the next piece is a little different.